There's a pile of money sitting on the table just waiting for someone to come and take it. But it just sits and sits there because most bettors walk right on by on the way to the donation box. Today I'm going to show you how to stop and grab some of the pile for yourself. See, most people think that sharp sports betting is about outsmarting the sportsbooks. It's about understanding price, line movement, and who you're betting against. In other words, markets. And the vast majority of the betting public gets bored, distracted, and lazy. And every time they do, value leaks into the places they're not paying attention. Today, we're going to look at 5 overlooked strategies and bet types that real sharp bettors use to stack up positive expected value. They're not the bets sportsbooks plaster all over the front page when you log in, but they work because most other people ignore them. And let's start with one that's right under most people's noses. Season-long contests, survivor pools, pick'em pools. If it's you versus the crowd, there's almost always extra value baked into the equation. Why? Because people can't be bothered to keep up with entries week after week. They forget, they give up, they miss deadlines. Circa Survivor, which has an $18 million prize pool and costs $1,000 to enter, had 95 entries through week 8 of this season who didn't submit picks. If you take a stroll through any contest history, you're walking through a graveyard of dead money. And here's the wild part. This first best bet is actually the smallest edge on this list. The next one is where the real money starts showing up, so stick with me. Now, why is this plus EV? Well, let's say you enter a $20 survivor pool with 500 entrants that returns all the money to the prize pool. That's $10,000 in the pot. In week 1, maybe 495 actually submit picks. You're playing against ghosts. Your EV against a full field is $0. You have a theoretical 1 in 500 chance of winning a contest that pays 500 to 1. But now you've got a 1 in 495 chance that still pays 500 to 1. And that increases every week that people forget to enter, or get lazy, or get kidnapped by ninjas and can't submit picks. When the operator offers these contests rake-free, this becomes one of the cleanest edges in recreational betting. But even with a rake up to 10%, the value is still there. The trick is making sure you're only playing when the contest represents a small fraction of your bankroll. If it's a $200 entry and that's half your bankroll, hard pass. And if you missed NFL contests, don't sweat it. There are second chance survivor contests that you can still enter. There are college bowl contests, or you could wait until the other major contest season. March Madness. That's an ocean of plus EV contests. Brackets, pick'em, survivor variations, they're all loaded with people who lose interest the moment their initial picks get torched. But if you don't want to wait for a full or even a half season to go by to make good on all that expected value, you've got other options, like taking advantage of when books push parlay promos. Number 4 on our list is parlay insurance. You've probably seen parlay insurance offered at some of the big recreational books, like DraftKings Ghost Leg parlays that they ran in October. It's exactly what it sounds like. When a parlay misses by 1 leg, you get your stake back. And it's a perfect promo to prey on the parlay player's propensity to pontificate that they always miss by just 1 leg. But this is one we can weaponize against the books, because most people will play it wrong. The parlay guys are going to stack up long shot after long shot. They treat 1 leg as a free square en route to their lottery payday. But look at the math. 3 legs at plus 500 means you'll hit that parlay about 1 in every 35 times. Add a 4th and it's 215 to 1 against you. So even if you're getting a free leg, you're not all that likely to cash 3, let alone 4. The way you should structure these tickets instead is to use big favorites for your initial legs, then add in 1 long shot leg. Well, that parlay pays a bit under 11 to 1. Those 3 favorites are due to all win about 51% of the time. That means that about 43% of the time, you get your money back on the parlay insurance, and about 8.5% of the time, you cash at nearly 11 to 1. Be sure to check out promotional terms and conditions on this one, as some sportsbooks limit how big a favorite you can stack into a parlay promo like this. But those times when the 3 favorites come in, well, you're essentially free-rolling the bigger payday. Now, that's fine for pregame, but what about after the game starts? If you don't want to get free-rolled yourself, you need to know one critical thing about live betting. Betting games in play can be a great way to get an edge. That's why it's number 3 on our list. Books move their in-game lines algorithmically. So if you're sharp about injuries that happen on the playing field, you can find vulnerabilities the computers miss. And because live markets aren't as liquid, it's harder for operators to profile you. There's really no closing line value for you to get, and so you can bet with much higher limits. A quick peek at the order book on prediction markets while games are going on shows you how much the action is flying while the game clock is running. But they also can pose a major problem for bettors who are trying to get their action in during the course of play. That's because there's a huge delay between what's happening on the field of play, what's happening on the odds screen, and what you're seeing on television. If you're trying to do that on a prediction market, you're begging to be a victim of adverse selection. There are sharp bettors out there moving with better information than you, with faster feeds or even live scouts at the game. That doesn't mean you should give up on live betting, but you should wait until there's stoppages of play to get your own action in. That way, it is much less likely someone else out there has better information than you. You can even do this just by watching an odds screen instead of a delayed broadcast. Books often have much wider straddles when the game is in flow to protect themselves, and then they tighten up those margins during stoppages. Live betting during commercial breaks is one of the best ways to find an edge these days, and it's also a good way to cut down on snacking. Speaking of prediction markets, they have a very exploitable play you can make that most people won't bother with because it asks you to risk a lot to earn a little. It's number 2 on our list, and we'll call them bridge jumpers. See, traditional sportsbooks have all the latitude in the world for their pricing. A bet can be plus 110, minus 163, or plus 592. But currently, some prediction markets can only price things on the penny between $0 and $1. The Cowboys were 125 to 1 to win the Super Bowl at FanDuel before Week 12. At the same time on Kalshi, you could buy them for 1 cent. Effectively just 100 to 1. But if you could sell Dallas at 99 cents, you'd be getting 1 to 100 on a bet that should be 1 to 125. Which means when you're betting something that should be priced longer than 100 to 1, you're getting a bad bet. Unfortunately, sharp bettors often beat you to these markets, but you can usually get plenty of people who are eager to snap up 100 to 1, even though the odds should be 300 to 1 or more. There's a never-ending stream of bettors that love betting long shots. Act fast on this one because natural business evolution will have these prediction markets operating in decimals of cents soon enough, and this angle will disappear. If all of these different types of bets have one thing in common, it would be that they required you to keep your eyes open to possibilities. Spotting contests to enter, looking for advantageous promotions, watching in-game betting screens, seeking out the inefficiencies in prediction markets. The term I like to use for all of this is sportsbook spelunking. That's number 1 on our list, and it's easier than you think. You just need to put in the time and effort to click through the deepest recesses of your sportsbooks. Go deep in the cave, or in this case, your sportsbook's menus. Leave no screen unturned. Look for bets that no one else is making. A couple of years ago, we ran an article by sharp bettor Telemachus about how he noticed Caesars Sportsbook offered 9th inning lines in baseball with a major flaw. The bet was voided if both teams didn't bat. It gave a lot of value to the home team in that situation. I'll put a link to the article in the description below. While there, you can check out Unabated's vast library of articles and content, all focused on making you a sharper bettor. From my own personal experience, betting which team would score first in a basketball game was a popular prop angle. You see, a lot of sportsbooks would base this on which team was favored to win the game. However, you could handicap just the players taking the initial jump ball to have a sharper probability of which team would score first. It didn't take long for sportsbooks to catch on, but then, surprisingly enough, a sportsbook started offering bets on who would score first in the second quarter, or third, or fourth. I guess they figured there's no jump ball to factor in here. However, the mistake they made is that the team that wins that initial jump ball starts with the ball in the fourth quarter. The other team gets it in the second and third. Situations like this pop up all the time. There's probably dozens out there right now. Now you have 5 new betting angles to pursue, but before you go, are you sure you didn't make my list of 5 rookie mistakes that bettors make? Check it out right here and find out.